Chat and music from country music superstars, Florida Georgia Line. Featuring the HE Band with Roy Mayorga. Ladies and gentlemen, Seth Meyers.
Good evening, I'm Seth Meyers. This is Late Night. How's everybody doing tonight? Great to hear. Absolutely fantastic to hear. In that case, let's get to the news. After President Trump defended white nationalist demonstrators yesterday, Republican Representative Will Hurd of Texas called on Trump to apologize, saying racism, bigotry, anti-Semitism of any form is unacceptable, and the leader of the free world should be unambiguous. Oh, I think she is. While President Trump fielded questions yesterday about Charlottesville, White House Chief of Staff John Kelly was seen staring at the ground with his arms crossed. And after hearing the press conference, so was the Statue of Liberty. When asked yesterday about his confidence in Chief Advisor and accused white nationalist Steve Bannon, President Trump said, "We'll see what happens." This is how much Trump cares about ratings. He ended a press conference on a cliffhanger. Will Steve Bannon lose his job? Will Mike Pence and his wife finally go all the way? Find out tomorrow on As the World Burns. President Trump yesterday defended participants in the white nationalist rally in Charlottesville, saying they weren't all bad people. Meanwhile, in Canada, I want one. I want a Justin Trudeau. 4 Confederate statues in Baltimore yesterday were officially removed overnight. So, you guys gonna march in Baltimore? Oh, you're not? How come? All right. You stay home. The studio behind the Hunger Games movies announced that it will be opening a theme park in South Korea dedicated to the films. They're calling it North Korea. A recent study found that 76% of U.S. adults have removed some or all of their pubic hair. The same study also found that 0% of them go to my gym. Really changed gears from racism to pubes. We'll start with racism and then we'll come right underneath. That's right, 76% of U.S. adults have removed some or all of their pubic hair, but these days, Bush isn't looking so bad anymore. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a great show for you tonight. From AMC's fantastic Better Call Saul, Bob Odenkirk is here this evening. One of my favorite shows, one of my favorite actors on TV. Also here to chat with us, they're from the fantastic country music band Florida Georgia Line. Brian Kelly and Tyler Hubbard join us. And after we chat a little, after we drink a little, the band's going to perform their track Smooth for us. So you're here on a great night, everybody. But before we get to all that, after being pressured into reading a carefully scripted statement denouncing Nazis on Monday, President Trump has spent the rest of the week showing us who he really is. And this is exciting, a lying racist. For more on this, it's time for a closer look. You could tell. You could just tell that ever since he was forced to make that scripted statement on Monday, Trump has been itching to tell us how he really felt. After ad-libbing his now infamous many sides comment on Saturday, his aides, the media, and decent human beings everywhere basically had to spend 2 days shaming him into reading a carefully orchestrated statement saying Nazis are bad. And you could tell it was a statement he didn't really want to give by the way he rigidly read off a script.
We all live under the same laws. We all salute the same great flag. And we are all made by the same Almighty God.
He sounds like a local mattress salesman who insists on doing his own commercial. Come on down to Eddie's Mattress Warehouse. Our prices are lower than my opinion of Nazis. Now, just a few hours after that scripted statement, you could see the real Trump slowly starting to peek out when a CNN reporter asked him why he had taken so long to denounce white supremacists, and he could hardly contain his resentment at the fact that he had to do it at all.
Mr. President, can you explain why you did not condemn those hate groups by name over the weekend? They've been condemned. They have been condemned. And why are we not having a press conference today? You said on Friday we had a press conference. We had a press conference. We just had a press conference. Can we ask you some more questions, sir? It doesn't bother me at all, but I like real news, not fake news. Give fake news.
Oh my God, fake news again? Get a new comeback. Stop trying to make fetch happen. At this point, it's only a matter of time before Trump ends a press conference by saying, "Could you be any more fake news?" I have to say, though, my favorite parts of these moments when Trump goes off script at White House events are the faces of the people behind him. Look at this guy. He looks like a tourist who just got called out at a comedy club. Where are you from, sir? Me? I'm from nowhere. I don't want trouble. Then after his live show, Trump started tweeting. And for Trump, tweets are where he gets to express his true self, because Twitter is tailor-made for Donald Trump. You can say anything you want. You have to use small words. You can block people you don't like, and you can do it all on the toilet. And with each passing hour, we saw more and more of that real Trump, because the real Trump woke up bright and early on Tuesday and spent his morning tweeting insane things about the media.
This is a retweet of an image of a Trump train smashing into an image of a CNN logo. Also worth noting, though, there's a person behind that logo.
The White House did respond to that. An official told us that it was inadvertently posted. As soon as it was noticed, it was deleted.
As soon as it was noticed, it's the president's Twitter feed. He has 36 million followers. Or if you ask him, 300 million followers. You talk about it like someone put up a dirty cartoon in the break room. Hey guys, who drew a penis on the Heimlich poster? Come on. We all know that's not what the choking hazard was. Obviously, it was not a mistake. This is who the president is. But there's another instance in which I do buy it was a mistake defense, because while the president spent his Tuesday morning retweeting his fans, he apparently accidentally retweeted someone who is not a fan. Trump accidentally retweeted a tweet from someone who said of Trump, "He's a fascist." Either it was an accident or Trump thought it was a compliment. When it comes to creating jobs, I'm the fascist. We are getting it done so much faster than any president in history. So fast. So very fast. And when Trump wasn't insulting the media, he was also insulting business leaders who objected to his behavior. As executives from major companies began to leave Trump's White House council on manufacturing in droves, Trump angrily tweeted yesterday, "For every CEO that drops out of the manufacturing council, I have many to take their place. Grandstanders should not have gone on jobs." Grandstanding. And you all know what grandstands are, right? They were those empty things at his inauguration. And then today, after even more CEOs quit, Trump said he would dissolve the council altogether, tweeting, "Rather than putting pressure on the business people of the Manufacturing Council and Strategy and Policy Forum, I am ending both. Thank you all." He's trying to pretend it was his idea all along. If Trump ever gets impeached, I guess we know what his farewell tweet will be. And then yesterday, of course, Trump held an impromptu press conference at an event that was supposed to be about infrastructure. And things started out rough right out of the gate when Trump was asked why he took so long to condemn the Nazis and white supremacists who marched in Charlottesville. Remember, they were holding Confederate flags, Nazi flags, shouting Nazi slogans, and using the Hitler salute. It was clear immediately who these people were and why they were there. But Trump actually tried to claim that he, of all people, had waited because he likes to exercise restraint.
I wanted to make sure, unlike most politicians, that what I said was correct, not make a quick statement. You don't make statements that direct unless you know the fact. Here's the thing. When I make a statement, I like to be correct.
It's weird because that statement is incorrect. In fact, Trump gave away how he really felt almost immediately when he went back to defending his original Saturday statement that failed to condemn white supremacists and drew a moral equivalence between Nazis and the anti-racist counter-protesters.
The statement I made on Saturday, the first statement, was a fine statement. In fact, everybody said his statement was beautiful, so making the statement when I made it was excellent. And honestly, if the press were not fake and if it was honest, the press would have said what I said was very nice.
Look at how fragile this man's ego is. He literally wants the TV to tell him, breaking news, what Donnie said was very nice. He is good boy. Did you see CNN? Did you see CNN? Oh, he's good boy. Now, you might be asking yourself at this point, how could things possibly get worse? The President of the United States is blaming both the Nazis and the anti-racist counter-protesters. But it turns out it could get much worse because Trump then went on to defend the people who participated in the white supremacist rally.
You had many people in that group other than neo-Nazis and white nationalists, okay? And the press has treated them absolutely unfairly. You had some very bad people in that group, but you also had people that were very fine people on both sides.
No. There are no fine people marching with Nazis and white supremacists. No one gets accidentally caught up in a white supremacist rally. It just doesn't happen, except for that one time on Seinfeld. And I would argue even George Costanza isn't a very fine person. So what's Trump's evidence for the fact that not all of the marchers were white supremacists or Nazis? He pointed to the now infamous Tiki Torch rally that occurred the night before on the UVA grounds.
Not all of those people were neo-Nazis, believe me. Not all of those people were white supremacists by any stretch. Those people were also there because they wanted to protest the taking down of a statue, Robert E. Lee. You take a look the night before, they were there to protest the taking down of the statue of Robert E. Lee.
So Trump says they were protesting peacefully the night before, and that proves they weren't white supremacists. Let's take a look at what those fine people were doing on that Friday night.
Jews will not replace us! Jews will not replace us!
Statue fans. I don't know everything about Robert E. Lee, but I don't think he was worried about being replaced by a Jewish general. Apologies, Robert, but we're turning your command over to General Goldstein. So the President of the United States thinks a crowd of Nazis chanting, "Jews will not replace us," are very fine people. What sort of twisted logic would tell a person that the Nazis who show up to wave Nazi flags are somehow equivalent to counter-protesters? What could Trump's reason possibly be? The best he could offer was this.
It looked like they had some rough, bad people, neo-Nazis, white nationalists, whatever you want to call them. But you had a lot of people in that group that were there to innocently protest and very legally protest because, you know, I don't know if you know, they had a permit. The other group didn't have a permit.
Oh, the Nazis had a permit? Well, me, I'm sorry. I had no idea. I had no idea. Also, of course they had a permit. They're Nazis. Nazis' main thing is having your papers. That's like the one thing they're good at. So Donald Trump insists that he knows better than the journalists and the counter-protesters who were there on the ground as far as what was really going on in Charlottesville. So what makes him so certain? As he wandered away from the podium, he said this.
I own a house in Charlottesville.
Will you go to...
Does anyone know I own a house in Charlottesville?
Where is it?
Oh, boy. It's going to be... It's in Charlottesville. You'll see.
Is it near the winery or something?
It is the winery. I mean, I know a lot about Charlottesville. Charlottesville is a great place that's been very badly hurt over the last couple of days. I own actually one of the largest wineries in the United States. It's in Charlottesville.
That's right. Trump thinks he understands Charlottesville better because he owns a winery there. Of course, Trump's favorite line is 3 to 5 million people voted illegally for crooked Hillary Clinton, but the lying, dishonest media won't tell you that. No, they won't tell you more people came to my inauguration than ever. All they want to talk about is Russia, Russia, because they're fake news. They're bad people. It's sad. And I'm serious. That's a whine. So, is Donald Trump a racist? I'll let you decide yes for yourself. But Trump isn't just a racist, he's also a narcissist. He defends the white nationalist movement both because he's racist and because they show up and they chant his name and they show him love. And his brain disease makes it impossible for him to denounce anyone who supports him. What Tuesday showed is that Donald Trump will never change. He shows us again who he really is, a lying racist who's desperate for praise. If tomorrow the leader of ISIS came out and said, Donald Trump is great, I am sure Trump would say this.
His statement was beautiful.
This has been a closer look. We'll be right back with Bob Odenkirk, everybody.
For more of Seth's Closer Looks, be sure to subscribe to Late Night on YouTube.
T-Mobile's Unlimited now includes Netflix on Us. That's right, Netflix on Us. Get 4 unlimited lines for just $40 each, taxes and fees included. And now, Netflix included. So go ahead,